como Marco Orlando y tiene foto de perfil. A veces son cosas del directo. ¿No te sale? Si no acepta él a la grabación, vale. Se ve que tienes que aceptar la grabación. No sé si te ha salido algo, Marco, cuando te has conectado, o te sale alguna cosa de que tienes...
Sí, me había aparecido ese mensaje y le he dado clic a OK.
Si no, pues empezaremos sin más, porque sí que te oímos y la gente que está en línea sí que te ve, pero la gente que está aquí en sala no está pudiendo ver ahora mismo. Pues me comenta que tendrías que salirte y volver a entrar aceptando esto. Vale. ¿Lo hacemos rápido? Vale. Danos unos segundos porque llevamos ya un poco de retraso, entonces ahora él también decirle pues que espere más, quizás tiene la agenda llena, entonces vamos a darle un momento porque se va a conectar ya, aceptará esto y en principio tendría que verse. Vale, ya está entrando en la reunión. Prima es un programa que tiene su sede en Barcelona, lo comento. Vale, Marco, y ahora te damos... Ya tienes el audio activado y no sé si has aceptado esto que te comentábamos.
Sí, ahora sí.
Vale, ahora te vemos. Genial. Todo perfecto.
Vale, pues voy a compartir de nuevo pantalla y a ver si funciona bien. ¿Ahora sí?
Sí, puedes empezar.
Vale. A ver. Vale, pues hablaré en inglés. Mi español no es tan bueno como el de los ponentes anteriores. A ver, OK. So, thank you again for the kind invitation. I would be happy to join you for next meeting, and for sure we will explore more synergies in the future with Interreg Med. Next Med. Thank you for introducing me as well. My name is Marco Orlando. I'm going to present the PRIMA program, the Partnership for Research and Innovation in the Mediterranean Area. This is a program that was launched back in 2017. The implementing body is based in Barcelona, Spain, and it's the Prima Secretariat. Let's say the legal name is Prima Foundation, but we could call it Prima Secretariat, which is responsible for launching the calls, managing the evaluation process, selecting projects, and monitoring them once they start. It's a unique partnership. We are focused on research and innovation, as Alejandro and Vincent said before. And there is a very clear thematic scope. You can see here the 4 thematic pillars: water management, farming systems, agri-food value chain, and the so-called WEFE nexus, the water, ecosystems, food, energy nexus that kind of explores the trade-offs and interlinkages among these 4 areas. The core of PRIMA, let's say, is the fact that we are a Mediterranean program. We are focused on the Mediterranean areas. The initiative brings together 20 countries from the north and the south of the Mediterranean, 12 member states of the European Union, and 8 Mediterranean partner countries. I'm not going to mention all the participating states, but of course you can see in this slide the list. I've checked the names of the participants in the participants box, and I've seen that most of you are probably eligible because you belong to these countries. So of course you can check the website and check exactly what are the countries that participate in PRIMA. But again, we have most of the Mediterranean countries from Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East involved in the program. The budget for the 10-year duration of the program is 700 million euros. And we are already working on the renovation of the program after 2027. It's a 10-year-long project, and we are aiming to have, a follow-up of Prima that will also last 10 more years until 2038. So we are in the phase of, political negotiations, and we are preparing for the launch of the next program. Some numbers. So far we have funded more than 200 projects, and we disbursed half of the budget foreseen for the program, 349 million invested in research and innovation, a huge number of applications received in these initial 7 years of the program, more than 20,000 entities involved in the applications, and more than 2,000 have eventually benefited from project funding. There is a significant chunk of beneficiaries that belong to the Mediterranean partner countries, as we call them, so the ones from the southern and eastern rims of the Mediterranean, and also 20%, it's worth mentioning that 20% of the total budget allocated has gone to the private sector, so companies, NGOs, private research centers, and so on. It's important for the audience to know that Prima is a unique instrument also because of its structure. Mainly, projects are funded through Section 1 and Section 2 calls for proposals. What's the difference between Section 1 and Section 2? They work exactly in the same way, okay? And the Prima Secretariat manages the call, launch, evaluation, selection of the project, monitoring, and so on. But the main difference is the funding. The funding, in the case of the Section 1 calls, come from the European Union, okay? In this case, we are talking about funding that comes from the Framework Program for Research and Innovation, Horizon Europe. In the case of Section 2, instead, the funding comes from the ministries, agencies, the so-called national funding agencies, which represent the countries involved in the Prima program, okay? So this is a structure that helps us create in the Mediterranean a critical mass of actors, because we are bringing together the national funders and also we are bringing together the beneficiaries from the
a
different
los
countries.
que aportan financiación con gente de las comunidades no solo del sur de Europa, sino también del norte de África y de Europa y de Oriente Medio.
Upcoming calls, because we are still working on the next ones that should be published within a couple of months. But I was asked by Alejandro to describe a bit what we have done so far in terms of funded projects addressing the water management thematic pillar, which is one of the pillars of the Prima Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda. And I'm going to try to kind of condensate this very vast information into 2 or 3 slides, because it's useful for you to know what has been funded, what the technical core of Prima is when we talk about water management, and you can also expect that we will fund in the future, this year and in the years to come, similar activities addressing water-related issues in the Mediterranean. So I really recommend that before even if we have a few weeks before the next calls are launched, everyone who is interested in Prima checks the Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda, or the acronym is SRIA. Why? Because this is a document that was prepared when the program was launched that kind of identifies we carried out extensive consultations with experts, scientists, policymakers in the field of water, and we identified 3 main operational objectives that we want to achieve and 4 priorities related to sustainable water management in the Mediterranean. The 3 operational objectives are to promote water-saving solutions, to achieve water and land sustainability, and to promote more efficient water governance systems in the region. Now, these 3 operational objectives are to be achieved by fixing related priorities that you can see again here. So the first priority that we identified is about water resources availability and quality. Then we have a broad one to promote sustainable integrated water management. Then 2 more narrow, more specific priorities, that is irrigation technologies and practices and use of alternative water resources. You will see that in each call that we have launched and in the future calls, we normally address 1 or 2 of these priorities and operational objectives. So you can expect that whatever we have funded in the future, we will also try to launch calls that build on previous work or work that is ongoing, because we have about 60 projects that have closed in the last 2 years, but we also have many ongoing projects. And we also encourage the researchers who are involved in Interreg projects to synergize with those involved in the Prima ones, to have again this to further build critical mass, and to make sure that we are not making efforts separately, but we are working together. Just some examples of the main topics addressed by the calls in the past. Okay, I mean, this is very synthetic information, but there are many differences between projects we have funded. We have some that are more focused on research, some that are more, let's say, innovation oriented, that tackle the market-related part of, you know, I mean, they're trying to develop solutions that can be commercialized and so on. But again, here you have most of the topics that we funded even more than once over the past years. So when it comes to irrigation, we've launched several calls addressing this topic, specifically with a focus on systems, technologies, practices that are adapted to the needs of the smallholders, especially in the southern part of the Mediterranean. We know that groundwater is a very important issue in the Mediterranean. Our aquifers are threatened by overexploitation, they're overstressed, they're contaminated. So even here, we have a series of projects that worked extensively on these issues. We have funded several projects on the topics of desalination, wastewater treatment, and other non-conventional water resources, because again, even the previous presentations, we've heard the importance of promoting non-conventional water resources in a water-stressed region to achieve more water availability. We have funded also projects that explore the important continuum between soil and water, especially to counter the advancement of land degradation and desertification, which is a threat for the Mediterranean, especially considering the impact of climate change. More recently, we focused on less technological projects, more focused on governance, water allocation systems, and accounting frameworks to solve conflicts that arise between different stakeholders, different users, different sectors, when it comes to access to water and using it. And of course, what we have mainstreamed in most of the calls are some cross-cutting themes, like first off, the UEFA Nexus approach. So we're not just looking at water, but we're also looking at the implication of managing water for the other areas, so ecosystems, food systems, and energy, and other aspects like the promotion of nature-based solutions, circular economy, especially when it comes to projects addressing water treatment, so recovery of nutrients, and so on, and the ecosystem protection. Okay, so we have this kind of holistic approach to water management that we want projects to incorporate, that we want consortia to incorporate in their project proposals. And recently we carried out an extensive analysis of the first 21 projects that finished addressing water management, that they were selected during the first 3 years of the program. There are more than 40 ongoing water-related projects, but it is too early to comment about the results. Here instead I provide some information that, let's say, it's a bit of intelligence, you know, that I'm sharing with you, to also let you understand what they achieved. You can get some inspiration in case you want to submit a proposal in the future, because you may wish to build on these results and also check the, get in touch with the Prima projects that have finished. Maybe you may find good partners from these past projects. So we identified for each operational objective that is set by the Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda, how projects contributed in terms of results to them. Okay, and you can see here that projects addressing irrigation, they developed a multitude of interesting results. digital platforms, making use of the Internet of Things, satellite imagery, to improve the efficiency of irrigation systems, decision support tools, models, monitoring and assessment tools, as well as advanced technologies like sensors and drones. Okay, and most of these technologies have been tested, developed, deployed in the south and in the north of the Mediterranean to be better tailored to the context. Sorry. Non-conventional water resources, we have several projects that improved the cost effectiveness, the energy efficiency of water treatment and desalination technologies. They created decision support systems to help in the planning how to use such technologies, frameworks for the sustainability assessment of treatment systems, and water use risk management plans. In the second group, we have a very distinct variety of projects. We go from projects that developed decision support systems, characterization tools, early warning systems, and management guidelines to help water managers prevent exploitation, pollution, and salinization of aquifers, to methods for the extraction and detection of pharmaceuticals and the screening of pesticides in water streams, models for optimal water allocation across different sectors, the urban, agricultural, and industrial ones, aquaponic systems, and so on. I mean, this is only a small snapshot of what these projects have done, but you can see that we have very different types of projects exploring all dimensions of the sustainable water management. And initially, we also focused, when it comes to governance, we explored specifically in the first 3 years, how to combine technology and technical aspects with participatory approaches, so that there can be this kind of involvement of different stakeholders in the decision making when it comes specifically to groundwater. Then, in the last years, we've enlarged this concept of water governance not only to projects that address the sustainable management of aquifers, but sustainable governance of water in more at 360 degrees. And even here you have interesting results: platforms, decision support systems, monitoring tools, models, databases that can be used by researchers, by stakeholders, by decision makers, and so on. Now, sorry, stop sharing by mistake, I guess. I'm almost done. I'm not seeing the presentation anymore.
No sé si has dejado de compartir. Ah, no, aún sigue.
Sí, ok.
Un momento, estás compartiendo de nuevo. Vale, la vemos.
Okay. So just a couple of slides to conclude. We will launch the new calls probably in March, so within the first quarter of 2025. So please regularly check the website, because at the moment the annual work plan 2025 is under the scrutiny of our stakeholders, the participating states and the Commission. But of course, this is the timeline. Probably within 2 months we will publish it in March. Make sure you have a look at the website. In the reference sections, in the reference document section, you will find all the guidelines, the call text, the handbooks, the templates, and all the national regulations of the national funders. Plus, there is a Find Partner section where, once the call is open, we will collect all the partnership requests. So you can either post your partnership request if you're looking for a partner to build a consortium, or you can search with a search engine among those that have been already posted. And it's a very interesting tool, because we also analyzed how many of the funded projects, how many of these consortia that were funded found partners through this section, and the percentage was very high. So it's a good tool, and I recommend that you use it. I'll stop here. Thanks everyone for the attention. And again, thanks to the organizers for this first synergy of the year between our programs. We hope to have more, so we will be in touch in the coming months.
Muchas gracias, Marco. Muchas gracias.
A vosotros.
Para los que estáis aquí tanto conectados, seguid a Prima en redes sociales, porque el día que lance la convocatoria, pues tenéis que enteraros. No sé si tenéis cuenta en Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Esas, ¿no? Vale. Y luego nos ha salido una pregunta en el chat. Preguntaban que cuáles eran las principales diferencias entre Prima y NextMed. Más allá pues, de muchos aspectos, podríamos decir, y me corrige si me equivoco, Prima está más enfocado en proyectos de investigación, ¿no? Porque sois parte de Horizon Europe, y NextMed son proyectos en los que se busca más el impacto en el territorio y el grupo objetivo. Entonces, si tenéis una idea en la que existen todavía riesgos inherentes a la investigación, pues tirad más hacia Prima, pero si tenéis ya una idea o una tecnología que sabéis que puede dar resultados y que puede beneficiar a un territorio o a la gente, pues iría más hacia NextMed. Muchas gracias, Marco, por tu intervención y por esperar, porque vamos con un poquito de retraso. Ahora vamos a hacer una pausa café y seguiremos luego ya con los intercambios mediterráneos, en los que tendremos varios investigadores y varios gestores de proyectos que nos van a presentar proyectos que han realizado, que han funcionado, y van a dar algunas ideas de posibles proyectos que se pueden presentar en el futuro. Así que estamos atentos. Damos ¿cuánto tiempo? ¿Son 12:05 hasta las 12:30? ¿25 minutos? Vale, a las 12:30 estamos aquí de vuelta.